2 races remain in Season 2 of the Core League as the penultimate race of the Alright, let's... Okay.
Pause.
Oh, okay. You really? Gatorade with your pinky up?
These little, petite.
162 laps remain. 1 race, 1 champion. 15 points separates championship contenders Joey Stone and Brian Pasternak. And at the end of the day, one of these drivers gets to call themselves a champion of the Season 2 edition of the Core League. As Core on MDK proudly presents to you the Soundhead Entertainment 250 live from the Atlanta Moore Speedway in Hampton, Georgia. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the season finale of the Core League and the Core on MDK Crew show. I'm your host, as always, Jet Krause. And joining me, welcoming back, it is Cody Workman, who was not here last weekend at Dover, left me dry and the abysmal broadcast.
I'm sorry. I had some personal attention I needed to attend to, but you know what? I'm glad I took the time off I needed to. I'm just slowly getting back into things. Jet, one of the things I love most about NASCAR has been broadcasting this series with you this entire season and throwing a bit of my mannerisms from time to time that all you people at home absolutely love.
Absolutely.
So,
hey, we missed you. We love that you're back. And we have it's going to be a great episode, and it's for sure going to be a great race. Last weekend at Dover, Joey Stone took home the victory in the penultimate race of the season, and a much-needed step towards him trying to take home the championship in what would be his final race here today. Let's take a look now at the point standings following Dover. So Joey Stone's still in second place. The gap is now 15 points instead of 23 after 2 races ago. At Iowa, Brian Pasternak is still the race leader. DriveThrough in third on back. They are no longer in championship contention. Michael Cosi Jr. 4th and 90 points behind. Darren Gillum in 5th. Brendan Littell in 6th. Cody Hick in 7th. Rusty Walrus gains 1 spot ahead of Joseph Lombard to 8th. Turno Mile in the 10th spot. Jake Baskinger in 11th. Michael Marutz in 12th. Jet Lundberg in 13th. Diego Alvarado 14th. Ed Soundhead 15th. Season 1 champion Dale Reynolds in 16th. Ray Jacobs 17th. Ron Labonte 18th. Daniel Baldwin 19th. Jonathan Ramos in 20th, and Caleb Hoffman rounds out the 21 standing field, 262 points behind. Okay, so heading to the final race of the season, we knew what it was like last year. It was just 1 point difference. However, this time around, things are going to start to get a bit more complicated. However, from What If's side, it's pretty simple. 7th or better. That's all you need to do. Regardless of what Joey Stone does, if you finish 7th or better in the championship race at Atlanta, What If will lock it all up. Now, if he finishes 8th or better, he has to lead at least 1 lap. 9th or better if he does that and leads the most laps, and 11th or better if he does all of that and win the pole, regardless of what Joey Stone does. However, from Joey Stone's perspective, it gets a bit more complicated due to now we don't have, at the time of this recording, we don't have the entry list out at the moment, and we can't do that. We can't go into Joey Stone's championship scenarios until we get that out. So we'll probably get Joey's sides of things on how he can lock up the championship when we go live at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock. So, Cody, my question for you is, we're going back from what If had to go through last year at Atlanta, tying Dale Reynolds for the championship. Do you think What If this is his time to shine? Do you think this is time to eventually lock it all up for the end?
Oh, absolutely. And then when I was talking to him, just going into the season way back at the beginning of the season when we were getting ready for Daytona, he felt like that the biggest mistake that he made last season was that he just didn't get off to that strong enough start in the beginning. He said that he made way too many personal dumb mistakes, too many strategy mistakes, where instead of playing it safe, he was being way too aggressive and lost points last season. And then this season, it's been a total 180. He's been very consistent, very conservative. Practically every single race that we've gone to, he's had a shot to win and has finished in the top 3 if he did not win the race. So this has been a really engaged, consistent What If. But at the same time, too, you got to imagine, no pun intended, but the what if scenario had Sloppy Joe made the first two races of the season. I mean, you think about it, he was down 40, 45 points before he made his first start here in this series. And I mean, you look at the net gain that, yes, out of all the guys in the core league so to this point, Sloppy has had the most, has the highest ratio of most points earned per race on average. But the problem is he missed those two races in the beginning. And unfortunately, I feel like if he doesn't win this championship tonight, that's going to end up costing him, unfortunately. But at the same time, though, you can't take away at all the amount of consistency that What If has shown the entire season.
Absolutely. And we also have to point out that, with Joey Stone, what happened a few weeks ago at Fontana, at the time, he was within, 8 points of Brian Pasternak to the points lead. He had that little issue with Darren that sent him to the back of the pack. We also have to consider Brian and his issues on pit road. I look at Michigan, Bristol during qualifying, even though qualifying has still happened. I look at Canadian Tire, 2 or 3 times on pit road. It has cost him wins, and at some, let's say if it does come down to a pit stop and that you have an issue like he's had in previous races, that could hinder his chances of getting a championship exponentially.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many what could have beens that we've seen this entire season. One that I think about is that Homestead race where we saw the rise of DriveThrough. It looked like it was going to be down at the end. It was going to come down between Dale Reynolds, What If, and Sloppy Joe for that win. But, we got some of those late race cautions, and with the amount of drivers that we had in that race, we had all those guys finishing in the back half of the pack when we were still having some of our biggest fields today, where we had about like 18, 19 cars in that race. So a lot of it, too, that's going to come out to this championship is what kind of turnout that we get. If we have, some of the turnouts that we've seen, some of the lower turnouts, unfortunately, we've seen the past few weeks, like, 8, 9, 10 drivers, maybe 11. That makes What If's job a lot more easier. That's less cars he has to beat. But if we get like 13, 14, 15, maybe 16 drivers out there, I'm telling you, one of the things that I've been listening to these guys throughout the week is that they want to end this season very strong. And one of the best ways to do that is, they've been really trying to push each other, even the guys who have made only a couple starts this season. Maybe guys that joined halfway through the season like Diego Alvarado, and then maybe some guys that took a more of a part-time role halfway through the season like Rod Gator and Dale Reynolds and Ed Soundhead, all to try to make it back and try to get a large turnout for tonight. So like I said, based off the recording as of tonight, we don't have the entry list, but what I can tell you is that with the amount of conversation that we've had with core league officials, they are doing all they can to try to get as much of a big turnout tonight as possible.
Yeah, especially because, like you said, the average field of Season 2 has been around, like you said, 10 to 11. I do expect we get a bigger field because it's the season finale. Maybe not 15 or 16, but, more than 12, I expect. Maybe 13 is the range we might get. But regardless what happens, it's going to be a fun race to watch. Now, Workman, we haven't done this in quite some time, so I feel like we need to bring this back. One of your most popular segments is your Power 5. A lot of drivers want to be on your top 5 list, and this week, you finally have a driver for, I think, the first time, and if not quite some time, has been able to make it into your top 5. Who is it?
Yes, for sure, and I will get to them, but as always, we will start from top to bottom.
Yep.
As we go back to the number 1 spot, he was out of there for a little bit, but not for too long. Last week's win for him, Sloppy Joe, puts him back at number 1 in the rankings. In my opinion, he has been the best driver of this season. Obviously, he does have the most amount of wins, but as I mentioned earlier, the only thing that's keeping him out of that championship lead are the 2 races that he missed at the beginning of the season. Second place, What If. Those two have literally been the top 2 the entire season in my rankings for the longest time. And What If, even though he is constantly consistent, I still think he's just a little bit behind Sloppy, just because Sloppy does have a lot of that momentum on his side, but he's still a really strong contender. Number 3, because he's been making more races recently, and he actually won not too long ago at Iowa, I have Winbow up there at number 3. This is another biggest what if scenario as well, because he's only been making about just over half of the season. And he's currently sitting 4th in points, or maybe 3rd in points. I don't have the sheet in front of me right now. But for the race that he's been in, he's always been up there towards the front. And we think about our short tracks that we've been to, where tire management is key, and he is practically untouchable at those places. And at a track like Atlanta tonight, watch out for him there. In 4th place, return to the Power 5, is Darian Gillum. He's kind of turned on a switch about the past month. Ever since he got that win at Talladega, he's had more confidence in his driving, more speed. Had a shot to win there at Auto Club the immediate week after Talladega. And then also since that point at Iowa and also at Dover last week, he showed speed at those 2 places there. And then number 5, it's taken him to the last race of the season, but one of the newest drivers to the NASCAR Heat Pro League Showcase races, Rusty Walrus, sits at number 5 on my list. I think the past month or so, month and a half, is the Rusty Walrus that a lot of us were hoping to see this season. It was practically about, I think, since Bristol, had a little rust patches after Bristol, but Bristol, Indianapolis, Talladega, and then Dover getting that top 5 as well. Darlington, he had a great run there. And so the longer that as the season has progressed, the first half of the season didn't go as you planned, but this second half has gone a lot better for him. And I think he can close it out with a good run tonight at Atlanta, which, by the way, he did have a shot to win on one of the final restarts at the finale here last year.
Did. Hopefully, maybe this time around, he can end the season off in victory lane. He hasn't won so far in the core league yet, but he has been close. All right. Well, like another thing that we haven't done in a while is Cody. I feel like you got something to say. Maybe maybe not about what happened last weekend, but the season as a whole.
Not necessarily because, as I said, I was away, and also, unfortunately, with the broadcast issues, I wasn't able to see much. And so I know that sucks, but basically, me being away for a bit, it gave me some time to reflect, Jet, on how this entire season has gone. We've had some really high highs. We've had guys like Cody Hicken making aggressive moves coming out of nowhere and dominating the speed weeks that we had at Daytona. We've also had guys like Sloppy Joe and What If, where those have been the 2 guys battling out for this championship the amount of the season. We see a rookie DriveThrough absolutely stun everybody in the first half of the season. Looked like he was going to be a really good championship contender up to this point, and we started to fall off, unfortunately. But we've been, this entire season has been comers and goers, and there's so much stuff going on. It gets me excited, and now during the last race of the season, I don't want it to. Jet, I don't know what we're gonna do, Jet. This off season, it's gonna be like 9 freaking months.
Oh my god. Cody. I think you screamed so hard that it cut your audio.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Where was I? Oh, yeah.
You cut out again. You cut out again.
Testing. Testing.
You're good.
And now my mic won't even work. It keeps cutting out. I can't express my full emotion. I don't know what we're gonna do, Joe.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay. Please Please don't. No, please, God. Don't touch your face with your mouth,
Oh,
Chad.
no!
You know the virus going around.
Oh,
See, I got a towel. I have
damn
a
it.
towel for this reason. You don't use your hands, Chad. Now you're going to
I got hand sanitizer.
Now you're going to get the virus.
I got hand sanitizer. I got hand sanitizer. Man.
No.
What has happened to this pre-race show, man? It's just gone off the rails.
I know. We couldn't. You know, of course, like the last pre-race show, we can't do these things normally.
Oh my god!
I know.
This was all not scripted.
So now I'm not gonna see this again for another, I don't know, 9 months. But maybe I need to bring it into a new segment for like a show or what. I don't know. I don't know. So, buddy, you've been fun. You've helped me get through the tears. Sayonara.
And you throw it away. Wow. Okay, well, good things must come to an end. Like the crying towel, another thing that's going to come to an end this season is one of the most popular segments. A lot of you fans have been waiting for this for weeks. It is the return of Workman's World. And because it is the championship finale, Workman is going to tell us why we, specifically Joey and What If, need to be focused no matter what comes in their way.
Championship week, we are here at Atlanta. Now, if I'm either Sloppy Joe or Brian Pasternak, I have one thing on my mind to win this championship, and that is to absolutely stay focused. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Just a couple weeks ago, Joey Stone hitting people out of the way, whatnot, trying to get up there and get the win. However, he was not focused at the task at hand, which was to run good and win the championship. Same thing with Brian Pasternak. They were down at Indianapolis, and the guys in front of him, Brendan Littell and Darian Gillum, were playing a game of patty cake. They were playing patty cake right in front of Brian Pasternak. Almost could have ended his day. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how annoying, how bizarre, and how silly things get. Because really, I mean, there's just these distractions that are going around everywhere. I mean, it is so easy to lose focus about what is happening in the real world. And I mean, yeah, I just kind of lost distraction right there with that little pass in the grass. So no matter how annoying, how bizarre, and how silly things get, if you are in contention for the Core League Championship, you've got to stay focused. No matter how annoying, how bizarre, or how silly things get, if you're racing for the championship, you've got to stay focused. Perfect.
We done now?
That's a wrap.
I'm leaving.
Alright folks, let's now take a look at the race announcements for tonight's event. 162 laps makes up the Soundhead Entertainment 200 or 250 I believe it is. I'm not sure on the race length, sorry. 41 laps in stage 1 and stage 2 and 100 laps in stage 3 with the pit window being 27 to 29 laps. Cody, based on what we saw last season, or can you use last season as an analogy to say what could happen in this race today, because Heat 3, Heat 4, they are different. You know, how the game might be run with fuel mileage might be different. You know, we never know with tire wear. But can you give us some sort of a race, I guess the word is, picture of what could happen in tonight's season finale?
Well, when we look at the track itself, and as I illustrated just earlier, those bumps.
Yeah. The
bumps at this track are so much more evident here than in NASCAR Heat 3, especially that bump going turn 1. I know not as present based off these default setups, but I know when it comes to making my custom setups at this track, it just goes up and down, and it feels like a roller coaster ride. So, but not just in that point, just the tires itself. This is one of the biggest tracks on the entire game where tire management is key. And probably the biggest track for tire management is key where we're not at a short track or a driver's race track like Darlington or a road course like Watkins Glen or Sonoma or whatnot. So yeah, that's going to be a really big key though.
Right.
And I mean, frankly
Well,
too,
let's
if we
take a
see
look
guys
now
try to
at our
extend their
picks to
tires a
win for
bit,
the
we're going to
final
see the
time this
pace back
season.
off a bit.
Another
But
thing, we haven't done in
if
a
you're
long
going to see
time.
those guys like what if
It's like
Sloppy Joe
coming
going
back
for this
after you've been away for so
championship,
long. You know, getting
they're
back
going to be
into the
pushing it
rhythm of
hard
things,
on
and
one
then
another
eventually
because
leaving for another 9 months.
definitely
So,
Sloppy's going to
all
be
right,
pushing for
picks
every
to
point
win
that
not
he
only the
can.
race
And
but the
what if is going to try to do
championship.
all he can to make sure
Cody,
that doesn't
you're up.
happen.
Who do you got
But then
winning this thing?
meanwhile,
And
also you had the
winning the
guys outside
championship?
the championship hunt that frankly, they didn't really have much to lose at this point. All that's really on their minds is just ending the season strong with the win.
Your mic is
So, with all these different scenarios, guys trying to go for cap off a great finish to a season that they might not have hoped for, and then this champion.
Okay, well, that what happens. That's what happens when yeah, editing goes wrong. Okay.
That sucks.
Okay, yeah. Well, to be fair, Workman sent me the episode literally an hour before
Wait, no.
we were supposed to go live.
Whoa.
I'm muting you.
Whoa. Don't be blaming this.
Good thing
on
about
me.
having control of this, I get to mute him. Okay, so he sent me. Now this is for payback. This is for earlier, all right? When you sniped me out, all right? Okay, so he sent me Workman's World an hour before, and I didn't have time to really edit and go over everything. Okay, he's not gonna be doing much. He's just okay. Okay. You know what? Because of this, we're just gonna cut to me. Okay. He sent me an hour or so earlier, and because of that, I didn't have enough time to really go over everything. All right, case closed. Okay, so we do apologize that we had some issues with it, but luckily enough, you got to see Workman's World and you got to see all the good stuff. Okay, all right, now I can put you back on.
You can't silence me, Jet. The people, they know where I'm at. You can't time me out of the chat either, because I'm a moderator. So that's the one place you can't cut me out.
Yeah. All right, whatever. All right, whatever. All right, we're still good. All right. Bit laggy. Do apologize for that, but it's a final episode. All right, so it's like, what are they gonna do? Fire us? I mean, it's final episode.
They're gonna fire you.
Fair.
You're the one with podcast. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about what was supposed to happen. I think the last part was the pick to win the race and as well as win the championship. Cody, let's start with you.
All right. Well, I'm still gonna stick with my pick, even though we know who will not be racing tonight, but it doesn't change it. Not only do I believe that this guy will win the race, but he will also win the championship. WhatiFRacing will cap off a near perfect championship run for season 2. I'm sure he may have wished that he could have gotten a little bit more wins, but other than that, he's literally been top 2, top 3 every single week, has had a chance to win every single week, and the consistency from this year will pay off with a win and a championship.
All right. Let's take a look now at the drivers that will actually be competing in this race. So we know. Wait, let me just pull it up right here. Okay, so we know that let's do this side by side. Okay, so we know that Joey Stone and Brian Pasternak, we know that they are racing. Michael Cosi Jr. is racing. Darren Gilliam, Dale Reynolds, Cody Hicken, Jake Baskinger, Michael Maroots, Rusty Walrus, Davin Cornelius, and Trey Normile. 11 drivers. Trey, I think he missed the drivers meeting. I'm not sure, but of course we'll let you guys.
I'm sure they'll be lenient.
Yeah, I think they will be. I mean, trying to get as many people as possible. But qualifying should be taking place in a matter of minutes. 8:30 is when qualifying starts. Yeah, you see static in the background. The green screen not working properly. I don't know what else there is to do except maybe.
What's your? We never heard your opinion.
Oh yeah, I got What If winning the championship.
Good thing you didn't cut me out there, Jet. Yeah. See?
Okay.
Yeah. You need me, Jet. You need me. You can't cut me out like that again.
Wait, what were you saying?
I said you can't. I even cut me out of the stream.
Wait, Sorry, I couldn't hear that. It cut out. I'm joking.
me in your life, or else you mess up and look like fool.
All right. I got Michael Kos Jr. winning the race.
Did you get that one, Jack?
Yes, I got that one.
Okay.
All right.
Did the people get that one at home, Jack?
I think they did.
Okay.
I'm not looking at the. Let's see. Did y'all get that? Yeah, y'all got that. All right.
Yep.
This pre-race show has really just gone off the rails. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Michael Kos Jr.
I think it's going pretty great.
Okay, yeah, I think so too. Okay, I got Michael Kos Jr. winning this race, because it's Atlanta, abrasive on tires. We see how well he ran at Richmond and at Martinsville. Also ran really good at Dover. Those tracks also really tears up, but uses up those tires, and I think Atlanta will do the same. And for that reason, I got Michael Kos Jr. winning the race, and I got Brian Pasternak winning the championship. Because, I mean, I just think it's too big of a hump for Joey to climb. And the fact that we only have 11 drivers and he needs to finish, what, 7th? Right? To win automatic?
So let's go through the scenarios again. And by the way, this water tastes a lot better without getting it splashed in the helmet. So if we can go over the scenarios again, if Sloppy Joe has a max points day, that means he gets 23 points, wins the race, leads the most laps, gets pole. Then What If needs to finish 7th or better. If he does that, he wins the race. Now, if What If can pull off leading a lap, he just has to finish 8th or better. If he leads the most laps, it's 10 points or better, because one, Sloppy doesn't get that point and he gets him. So basically, think of it as like a 2-point reversal. Finishes 10th. And think about this: if What If gets the pole and leads the most laps, then he will automatically lock up the championship.
Yeah, that's right. So
with there only being 11 cars.
Right. All right. So basically, if he wins pole, he's already one step closer to winning that championship. All right. So let's see. There was. Oh yeah, I wanted to say something about with Workman's World. Did you suffer any damage to your head with how many times she kept on hitting you?
I feel perfectly great. I'm ready to call the race tonight. I feel no concussion-like symptoms. When you do percussion enough, over your lifetime, you start to build somewhat of an immunity for all the banging and clanging. And these helmets, they're designed to take some pretty good impacts, especially when one of them is from your 19-year-old sister. So, yeah. I feel 100%. Feel great. Everything's great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to calling eventually my race tonight at Kansas.
Yeah, and shout out to your sister for helping us with that segment. That went much better than I expected.
One take two. It was one take.
Yeah, when you said you're gonna have like distractions, like have that similar to earlier segment on Wally's World, I thought, okay, this is gonna I don't know if this is gonna go very well, but no, I went perfect, and apparently a lot of people in the chat also enjoyed that.
Oh, the people loved it.
Yeah,
people loved it. You gotta wonder if this will continue next season. Who knows?
Yeah, it looks like you have to take more damage to the head if one more entertaining segments like that.
Maybe not.
Okay.
Just because it's better over time doesn't mean that we need to keep doing it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. Let's see. I don't know if there's really anything else left to say at this point. I guess we could say, since it was cut out from the pre-race, I guess favorite Core League moment from this season.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I know when we talked about this earlier, both of us, it was the same way, but I was absolutely in love with that Darlington race. Literally, even though we had a long green flag run at the beginning of that race, and we didn't really see our first caution towards the end of the race, and it was a caution scenario, we had 3 guys, Dale Reynolds, What If, and Sloppy Joe, all battling for the lead up there. Even when they did different pit strategies and whatnot, if one went longer than the other to pit, or one short pitted, didn't matter. Like at some point throughout the runs, between each run, before each pit stop, we would always see those 3 going at it. And then at the end, it was a little bit of a no holds barred thing at the end of that race, but we saw DriveThrough take the green-white checker in about 9th position, worked his way all the way up to 5th place, got the white flag, was in 3rd place going down the back straightaway, and he gave a double bump and run to Littell, who then in turn bumped Lombard, went around him inside, went from third to first in one corner, picked up his win, and that was the start of a very good first half of the season for him.
Oh yeah. I'm about to say, Homestead was my favorite race, really, because I mean so much happened. You had the big three: Reynolds, WhatiF, and Joey, and then just all hell breaking loose in the I think 10 to go. And now we do realize that this is the final race of the season. So a lot of finals going on. Joey in his final race as a driver. We should say also congratulations to him. He was announced today that he's going to be a commentator for the eNASCAR Pro League preseason commentary team. Yeah. So congrats to him. I don't think there's anything else left to say except maybe do some hashtag Ask Core Booth. What do you think?
Yes, we got to do our favorite time filler segment,
All right,
where we get to interact with the fans. I love that.
All right, so you see, well, you don't see it here, but right there, hashtag Ask Core Booth. If you want to ask any questions for me and Workman, we're only going to answer a couple because qualifying is starting right now, so we might get like just 2 or 3 in there. So if you want your questions, make sure you get them ASAP, or you type it in ASAP, or for us to comment on it. And by the way, we should also say, Trenormau did not make it the drivers meeting, so he will not be in this race. So now it's just down to 10 drivers.
That makes it much harder for Sloppy Joe to do anything.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
because now, I mean,
yeah, he needs a max point. Basically, he cannot, like Sloppy Joe. He not only does does he have to do extremely well. He has to win the race, in my opinion, to have any sort of shot of making his championship. Because quite frankly, if he finishes second or worse, there's not much really any further back in the pack that WhatiF could finish that would inhibit him to be able to take that championship.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, let's not beat around the bush. There are 3 drivers that we know that are not that good, or let's just say that WhatiF can easily is easily better at Jake Baskinger. You can even throw in Rusty Walrus and Cody Hicken. I mean, so Joey's going to basically need a miracle if he wants to have a shot at winning this thing. All right. One person said something. Let's see.
Yeah, so we got NASCAR Diecast. He says, "Who is the most popular driver in the core league?" I don't know if he's means based off of like subscriber count or just fan enjoyment, but if I were to go off of sub count, I'm pretty sure it would be Ed Soundhead. But if I had to go off of popularity count and likability, I would say Rusty Walrus. I know a lot of people cheer for him on a week in and week out basis. I know me personally, I'm a personal big fan and friend of him as well. Just how much gains that he's made in the past year within the NASCAR Heat and NASCAR YouTube community, and especially for him being able to make these showcase races for the NASCAR Heat Pro League. It's a really good opportunity for him to be able to make that and has achieved that. And I think that really shows the amount of engagement. Though, sometimes some people may say, he isn't the best driver out there. In my opinion, he's always improving week in and week out. And the fact that he was able to get at least in the eyes of caught some of these pro league teams' attention just really illustrates how much that he engaged with the community and the fans.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you there, Rusty. I mean, nothing really much else to add on there. I mean, yeah. I agree with you, Rusty. I think also will be is the most popular driver in the core. I think a close second would be, I say DriveThrough might be a close second. Specifically, the first half, there was a lot of hype around him.
He's got a cool clown reel there at the end of those races.
Yes.
He's basically our post race analysis in depth that he takes care of for us, and I enjoy going in there watching those and. Sometimes it's live. I'm able to go in there. Sometimes it's not, especially because as of late, being on Tuesday nights, I have to go back because I'm racing during that time. But yeah, he contributes well too.
All right, let's see what the next question is from Cito Brown. Hashtag Ask Core Booth. How will strategy play out for Joey Stone to make up a 15-point gap? Okay, so earlier when I said that Raw Gator was not racing, no, he is. He's just going to start at the back. Because it's a season finale, they're going to line it on the rules. Before, if you didn't make the drivers' meeting, you're not going to race. But because it's the last race of the season, they said, we can still let you in. So it will be 11 drivers. Go.
Yeah, I think when it comes down and talks about what strategy, like he doesn't need to do anything special really. I think Sloppy, he's proven week in and week out that he is the best driver. He has 6 wins on the season so far, and that being said, he knows how to win. He knows what to do. So he doesn't need to do any like crazy out of the box strategy tonight, in my opinion. He just needs to run his race and do what he can do to try to win this race to get as many points possible, and that's by getting the pole, leading the most laps, and getting the win. But at the same time, there's not really much that he can do based off of how What If does. But as much as that may be in his mind, he just needs to ignore about what If is doing, and he just needs to focus on himself, hit his pit road entry and exit right, don't make any mistakes, don't be getting people upset by making uber aggressive moves. Run your own race, get that win, and then based off of whatever What If does tonight, he can't really help that.
Yeah. I think it's just, again, you're going to need a miracle, I think, for What If to win this, or for Joey to win this championship. He's just too good, Brian is. He's just too good, too consistent. So, yeah. This one's a good one from Shugi. Sorry if I mispronounced that. He said, will Core League ever have something similar to the NASCAR Awards Banquet? Except for not a banquet, just like an online awards show.
Interesting. I feel like the idea was floating around in a particular discussion about maybe 48 hours ago. I don't know. It may have been a private conversation. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we can ever confirm nor deny these ideas or not, but I have a feeling that they may be somewhat in development.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think too, it may involve 2 of the greatest esports commentators in all of NASCAR. I'm just not sure, but I'm pretty sure that things may be in the works. So
yeah, I think
I think we should definitely be tuning into that possibility.
I think we should. I think you guys should tune into it. I think you guys are gonna be interested in what might take place. All right. Shugi asked another question. He says, with Joe leaving after the season, who do you think will take over as the most dominant driver next season? I feel like it's gonna be Brian Pasternak. What do you think?
Yeah, he'll definitely be the one to watch too. But at the same time too, we've heard rumors and like what's being talked about with guys in Core League as well. That they're gonna they want to have more people involved in this league, especially when we saw we had a great amount of numbers early on in the season, but as the season has gone on, we've lost some drivers, guys who haven't been able to commit week in and week out. And part of it too is based off of the schedule itself. Like I know they talked about maybe shortening the schedule for next year, just so it isn't running into the next NASCAR season. I mean, right now it's not really that big of a deal because of everything going on in the nation, the world right now with sports being canceled. But still, we were trying to run around that conflict for a couple of weeks, especially with speed weeks, with most of us guys going in Daytona and whatnot. So they're looking at like shortening the schedule there, but also they're going to want to bring in a bunch of new talent too as well, and that means lowering the qualification standards. I guess you might say, and then maybe not even a set number. Just be like, hey, we see the content that you're producing. And we feel like you'd be a good fit, but that all comes down to what the not the pro league, but what the Core League officials have to say about it. But yeah, we should definitely be seeing the opportunity for more new drivers to come in. And with that being said, we'll never know who could be some new drivers who could come in and
qualifying is wrapped up. What if, or when Val starts on the pole, Joey Stone starts 3rd. What If will start 7th. Wow, that's kind of
interesting.
Yeah, interesting there. Just real quick, folks. I just realized that little issue that we've had in previous races. I feel like that's gonna happen. So we are gonna go off for just a little bit. All right. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the stream. We're gonna go off for just a few seconds and then come back on. All right. So.